Now, there are a lot of things I can't fucking stand. Everyone knows that. There's a lot of things I legitimately don't fucking like. And then there are some things that I just plain fucking hate. And I don't mean like I prefer people didn't do that or it's like that's really fucked up. No, I mean there are things I legitimately fucking hate. Like I hate with a passion because they are just shitty, fucked up actions that people should never do to another person just because of something stupid or because they have like some sort of fucked up issue that they're not getting resolved. Now, people might know where this is going. If you already know, don't spoil it for the other people in the back who might not know. I prefer that the people in the back find out when I am ready to tell them instead of someone just trying to immediately jump to the last page. Let me just say this. Everyone knows how Codebreaker has been behaving for the past 6 months almost, if not a little bit more. It's hard to keep track because for a while people ignore him and then he fucks off and then he comes back with a vengeance when he starts pulling out some more bullshit to like right out of his asshole of a mouth just to keep spouting bullshit at people. Now there are two things that I really fucking hate that he continuously tries to do. The first thing is this stupid fucking gaslighting about other people's relationships. Prof mentioned it in his video. Sorry, it's itching a little bit. Prof mentioned it in his video, where Codebreaker tries to basically gaslight Steve into thinking that Zach is gonna like start physically abusing him at some point. Now, obviously, it's fucked up for that reason in and of itself. You don't say that about someone for no fucking reason, especially when you don't know anything at all about the guy, except for the fact that someone whose dick you're sucking happens to have a problem with him because he acted like a toxic little dipshit, harassing people for years over petty bullshit, while at the same time making shitty exposed videos, which really didn't mean anything because most of the people he was, quote, exposing were people that made fun of him for being a toxic dipshit that was kicked out of his own community of content creators because his contemporaries couldn't fucking stand his shitty childish attitude. Like I'm willing to I'm willing to like raise my hand and say, yeah, I fucked up. I did a lot of shit that I really wish I didn't do on here and just in real life in general. But I took the time to just improve and be a better person and never do that bullshit again because I realized it was just not the way to conduct myself. And the things I did probably hurt a lot of people. I say probably because there's no way for me to know. It's not that I'm trying to diminish what I did, it's just the fact that I don't know. So I'm just going to err on the side of caution and say yes. I guarantee at least some people were affected really negatively. And to those who were affected by my actions all those years ago, I'm sorry. It was not the way to behave. And even if people are treating me like shit, it doesn't make me any better and it doesn't suit me to like stoop to their level, if not stoop lower, in some shitty way to retaliate against something fucking stupid. But yeah, I'm sorry for those who I affected or someone that's stupid. But nevertheless, my issue with Codebreaker, to get back on track, is the fact that he tries to do the kind of shit that someone does when they know they have nothing on you. So they try to do shit to make you second guess things in your life, whether it be your mental health, your emotional health, your job, your relationship, like your status as a person in general. Which is kind of shitty when you realize the dude has nothing at all going on for him. People like him are not that hard to figure out. Everything that he does, without fail, is only done because he's angry and bitter that other people have something at all going on for him that he doesn't have. When it comes down to Steve, Zach, myself, Kate, it comes down to relationships. Like he's pissed off at other people for having relationships because, at least to everyone's knowledge, he's alone. Now, I don't like to just go around saying shitty things. Usually, I only say something shitty about someone if they decide to be a massive asshole to me first. It's usually me trying to give someone the benefit of the doubt that I'll only usually retaliate if the retaliation is going to be proportionate to the fucking swing that instigated the altercation, so to speak. But the fact is, the guy that bitches about me making a video one time about a particularly bad ex that did everything that they could to make my life a living hell during that relationship You don't get to talk shit about that and then say that, well, I'm being toxic and misogynistic. Meanwhile, you literally dox the name of your ex-girlfriend. I assume this is an ex-girlfriend, maybe the only one you've ever had, and basically accuse her of being a pretender because apparently you throwing shade at someone who's not here to defend themselves while giving their name to possibly motivate people that might feel vindicated to bother them in real life in some way. Yeah, you totally have room to talk when that's the kind of shit you pull. Another thing, stop bringing up other people's family lives and family in this shit. It's literally stupid petty internet bullshit, and you need to go that far to just autistically stalk everyone. Seriously, you're not winning any friends here. No one finds this shit funny except you. And you find it funny in the sort of misanthropic fucking way that people do when they get some sort of Schadenfreude feeling off of getting what they feel is justified retaliation for someone hurting their feelings. The truth be told, there's no justification in any of the shit that you do because you're basically just doing it all because you started a fight, people hit you back, and then you realize that you kept getting hit back, so you gotta keep defending yourself even though what you're doing is not self-defense, because you're basically trying to swing at people after they've already beaten you to a pulp and decided the fight was over and walk away from you. And then you start doing, like, basically like screaming at them from down the street as they're walking away from you with their back turned to you. And when they don't turn to face you, you just throw rocks at them until they do. This is not the way to behave if you actually want to be respected by anybody. It's not worthy of respect. It's worthy of mockery, condemnation, and disdain. Because everything you do is just personal petty retaliation. I'd rather just have you admit the fact that you don't like what someone said about a friend of yours and just have the balls to say that, instead of trying to make up other reasons as to why other people are assholes when you're the one that went looking for the fucking fight. You weren't looking for it. Other people didn't do shit to you. You decided to be a whiny little cunt to everyone and like basically go out of your way to pursue a fight with people for no fucking reason, except for the fact that you're a fucking moron that needed to feel vindicated, so now you just screech at everyone until someone says something back to you. Like, people like you are not hard to figure out. You do this because you have nothing else going on. People are not mad at you because you're, like, striking a nerve. They're sad because they realize that if anyone had gotten too obsessed with this bullshit, they'd turn out like you. You're a cautionary tale of what happens when someone takes an internet beef so fucking personally that they then start stalking the people that are critiquing them or mocking them to try to get some sort of limp dick rush of trying to fuck with their family or fuck with their life in some way. Like, that's why it sickens me so much, is because it shows a complete and utter lack of self-awareness, no critical thinking skills, and worst of all, it shows people that you're willing to go to any lengths, including lengths that would usually be deemed completely inexcusable, as just a shitty, sad attempt to get underneath people's skin. As I said, you're not making people angry. You're not making people go, I'm gonna get this guy. You're making people go, what's the little fucking retard doing now? Oh, he's doing this shit now. He's doxing people's relatives now. Okay. I didn't realize that being this fucking crazy and acting like it's reasonable was the same thing as someone actually having something at all to say against anyone with like legitimate criticisms in mind. Keep in mind, you have the ability to actually sit down and issue a rebuttal to some people's concerns and points, but you don't because you know you can't defend anything at all that you do. Like, at all. You literally go around digging up bullshit from years ago to throw in people's faces because you're a fucking idiot that can't defend his own actions at all. If you were actually able to defend your behavior, you wouldn't need to constantly look for bullshit to justify yourself with. You wouldn't. You'd be able to just sit there and say, here's why I'm doing this. Here's why I feel it's justified. Here's why what you do is shit. As opposed to, this person hurt my friend's feelings. This person's not your friend. They just use you as a fucking athletic cup until they get tired of you and then throw you away. I mean, people like you are not hard to figure out at all. You do this because you get the approval of someone else who you feel you could hide behind if shit hits the fan for you. Let's be honest. foodie is not nearly as clever or intelligent as he believes he is. He's good at that AFL video game. I'll give him that. By the looks of it, he's pretty good at it. Don't really watch his shit because I don't give a fuck about AFL. Those that watch it, those that like it, good for you. Have fun. But the fact is, I don't give a shit. He's good at it, very well, good for him. He has some kind of talent in something, aside from just being an annoying waste of space for a change. Like, I don't get why it is he wants to lecture other people about their jobs, by the way, when his job is literally making fucking bread at Woolworths. And I'm not directing anyone to fuck with this person who might live in Australia. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you want to make fun of him on the internet, fine, but don't fuck with his personal life. Don't do that. Like, be better than that. Be better than that. Don't stoop to the levels these assholes do. Don't do it. It's inexcusable, and I will not tolerate it. And if I find someone's doing this, I am gonna ream their ass the same way I reamed this person's ass for their shitty behavior. It's completely fucking excusable unless you have reason to believe someone may actually be under threat of harm. Then I suggest we go through law enforcement to ensure other people are safe. That's where I draw the line. But yeah, trying to dredge up personal details about someone in an attempt to hurt their feelings or upset them sounds more like they hurt you. Seriously. Like, are you doing all this because I hurt your feelings, or because Damien hurt your feelings, or because Steve and Zach hurt your feelings, or because someone hurt your feelings that's not any of us? And you're just using us as a convenient way to lash out at the world who you feel has wronged you or ignored you? I mean, seriously. Like, why not just actually be upfront with your actual issues instead of just trying to hide behind shit like a whiny cunt? People like you are easy. It's easy as shit to look at the fucking mental state of someone like you because it's like one of those open-ended engines. Everything's right there at the moment the hood comes up. That's really all it is. You're either doing it because someone hurt your feelings and you can't retaliate against them, you're mad that other people are happy and you're not, or all of the above. That's usually how it works. Nobody does the shit that you do unironically unless there's like one of those two issues or a combination of both are present in the situation. Let's be honest, if it was all just you poking fun and laughing at people and making people look stupid, you wouldn't go to the lengths that you go to. Like, you wouldn't. It would not be a relevant issue for you. Like, bringing up my family history, for example, would not mean shit to you because it would be irrelevant if you were just trying to make fun of me and make me look stupid. Another thing, talking shit about where someone's from is basically about as stupid as making fun of someone's, like, I don't know, their eye color or something. Because more often than not, they don't choose where they're from unless they relocate themselves voluntarily later down the road in life. Like, that is about as stupid as making fun of, well, eye color, like I said. It makes no sense to do. It's stupid. It's literally idiotic. It's the definition of what a dipshit little kid does because they don't have an argument. Seriously, I don't get why you act smug. The only reason you say this is because you're thousands of miles, if not hundreds of miles away from people who might track you down and settle the score. And again, I'm not advocating for such a thing. I'm not suggesting anyone waste their time doing this because it's a waste of fucking energy to beat someone like this down. Life does that enough as it is. He'll eventually just decide to delete himself when he realizes that he's wasted how many years of his life starting shit with people on the internet for attention because he has no fucking friends. I mean, think about it. Your own friend disassociated with you because your actions were so toxic and shitty. How does that not register as a sign that you're going too far? You're trying too hard for too little result. Like, do you just think about anything at all that you do? Either before or while you're doing it? Like, is there literally any thought that goes into this other than, hey, I'm going to get back at these people? No, guess not. I do not believe that there is. It does not appear to be so. Because it seems like everything you do is done as a knee-jerk fucking reaction to people who personally offended you. And then for some reason you need to have some bitchy crybaby retort to everything I say or Damien says or fucking Steve or Zach or Prof say. It means nothing. You're not doing anything important. You're not putting a dent in people here. Sorry, like it's been a long day. I've been up since like fucking 4 a.m. to get up and go to work. It's like almost 9 now, so I've been up for a good long while. And that's if you include all the physical labor from work, driving to and from the house, having to run a quick errand, making dinner, taking the shower, then getting out here. So it's been a full day. But the fact is, like, it doesn't come off as interesting when you act like an antagonistic little shit to everyone. It just doesn't. It just comes off as you looking for attention by being shitty. No one supports this. No one finds this funny. The only people that seem to give a shit are your army of alts that passive aggressively upvote your own shit because you know nobody gives a fuck otherwise. The only other people that take notice of the shit you do are the people who you're trying to fuck with. And then at the same time, you don't seem to realize, wait a minute, this is a waste of fucking time. This is a fruitless endeavor. All it's going to do is make me look like a dumb shit and then make people laugh at me. Yeah, that's what happens. People laugh at you. They don't laugh at you because you're funny or because you're outsmarting people. They laugh at you because you're a fucking clown that's too stupid to know he's a fucking clown. That's really what it is. It's like the dipshit in class that thinks he's outsmarting the teacher. Meanwhile, the teacher's sitting there letting them make a total ass of themselves, watching them run themselves around in a fucking circle, trying to justify their stupid ass line of reasoning to anyone that's not them. That's really what it is. It's like it's like everyone's in a classroom and they're watching the one stupid kid in class trying to argue about how right he is compared to everyone else in the fucking room. And people just sit there and watch you make an ass of yourself because it's so much easier to do that than it is to try to engage with you at all. Because it means nothing. It accomplishes nothing at all to try to reason with you because you don't reason, period. Because to reason would actually suggest you'd have the capacity to think for more than a split second before immediately defaulting back to doing the same retarded shit every other week. And this shit is fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. There's literally no accomplishment in any of this. It's basically just you saying, I'm smarter than all of you. Really? You have no job, no education to speak of. You can't even you don't own your own motor vehicle from the look of things. You don't have any relationships that are seemingly meaningful or worth actual fucking mention. It seems like the only relationship you ever had was with that girl that you doxed. And after that, it seems like you're all alone in the world. Like, maybe I'm wrong. I could be. But it doesn't seem so. Because it looks to me, from where I'm sitting, someone that has meaningful relationships doesn't do what you do. Like, they don't. Like, if look at myself and look at Steve, for example. Look at two of the people who are your contemporaries that you've been bitching at. Well, not just me and Steve. Look at Prof as well. All like Steve, Prof, and myself are all individually in long-term committed relationships. And you see how we're not posting every 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days in a row about random BS. About people that we don't like, hoping to get their attention. Like, you see how we don't do that. And it's not because, well, it's a slow news day for you. No, it's not worth any stupid fucking bullshit. It's not worth making hours and hours and hours worth of garbage that people are not going to want to sit through. Like, it's a good way to basically fuck off your audience, as well as basically showing everyone else in the room that you're becoming unhealthily obsessed and terminally online. To the point to where you're just dedicated to preserving bullshit conflicts over and 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 over again ad infinitum. It's not worth it. Nothing like this is. It's just really fucking stupid that you try to do that kind of shit because like people don't want it. People don't want it. I wish you'd stop trying to like gaslight people about their relationships because it's a particularly cunty thing to do. Now, let me go into a personal anecdote for a little bit. Let me explain why it is I have such a disdain for this, aside from just the general principle that it's a shitty thing to do. Back in high school, and the reason this is all the way back in high school is because as an adult, I don't have friends that do that because I realized how to spot these people a fucking mile away and I just deep six them from my circle. Whenever I see someone like that, it's like, yeah, fuck you, stay away. But like, in high school, there was a friend of mine, person with a chick. There was another mutual friend who was also a girl. Both of these people went to choir. And chick A would constantly try to like cut chick B's legs out from under her, so to speak. Keep trying to like punch down at her, and would just keep trying to cut her friend down about how she sings, about how her face looks when she sings, about how her vocal cords sound. Basically, doing the kind of shitty thing that a person does when they have shitty self esteem, so they want to keep hurting their friends so the friend sinks to the same bullshit spiraling level of self loathing and depression that they have, so they have misery loves company. And like I had seen this happen for for the first 2 years of high school. This person was just constantly doing this to that friend of ours. She was just constantly like cutting her down, talking shit to her, talking shit about every little thing that she could think of to talk shit about. And finally, a friend of mine, like my friend Dakota and I, we finally just looked at her and said, "What the fuck is your problem?" And she looked confused that we both said something at the same time almost. Because this has been going on for like 2 fucking years at this point, like non-stop. We asked her, like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, ever since we've started high school, you've been on her ass about every little thing, all the way down to how she does her assignments, to all the way to how she sings in your choir, in your extracurricular and choir. What the fuck is your problem? And she clammed the fuck up, turned around, and walked the fuck away. And what happened is we both found out that the reason that she was being so bitchy to her is because apparently like friend B was dating someone that friend A was interested in, and instead of simply trying to be happy for her friend, she kept trying to make chick B feel shitty about herself by basically doing whatever she could to make her doubt herself, her relationship, and everything in between. I think that's really fucked up and shitty. Like that's a sign of a fucking sociopath. That's someone that's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take a shotgun to your life because I can. Ha ha ha. That's some sociopathic shit. I mean, there's a lot of people I really don't like. There's a lot of people who I really fucking can't stand. But I don't try to take fucking bullshit to their personal life or to their fucking relationships in hopes of doing something to damage it or cause some sort of fucking conflict or fight or fear between the two of them. I just don't give a shit about what this person's life is outside of that because their life there is their life there. It has nothing to do with this unless they're either A, willingly disclosing it, or unless this person is also choosing to be involved in the conflict that their partner is involved in. Otherwise, leave them the fuck out of it. And the same thing translates here, like leave people's partners the fuck out of it. If they're not directly involved, they don't say shit to you, they don't know you fucking exist, leave them alone. This is fucking retarded. You know, do you think you come off as funny when you do this? No, you come off as fucking creepy. It's creepy. It's not funny, it's not trolling, it's just stalking at that point. Because you're looking for things to like try to take a bat to someone over, and the reality is you're the one crossing several boundaries that most people wouldn't cross. At least sensible people wouldn't. You don't come off as the likable, puckish rogue living a life of mirth and whimsy. You come off like a whiny little prick who's trying his hardest to make other people's lives hard because they have things that you desire but can't have because you're just an unlikable ass. Considering all the gaslighting you do, I think you were probably emotionally abusive. I mean, here's the thing. I'm gonna speculate. I'm gonna speculate, and this is simply my opinion. So please nobody take this as a fact. Okay, this is just me stating my opinion. From this point on, I'm just gonna speculate, and then I'll tell you when I'm done in regards to what I think about that particular point. I think that Codebreaker was maybe emotionally abusive in his relationship with his ex, and the reason I say this is because if you look at how he talks about Zach and Steve's relationship and how he's trying to make Steve believe Zach is abusive in some way, it's the kind of behavior that someone demonstrates when they are willing to demonstrate that behavior to someone else in their personal life that they may have actually been involved in at some point in time. Because usually that's the kind of tool someone pulls out of their toolbox whenever they realize that calling someone an idiot or insulting them won't be sufficient to try to land some sort of impactful blow. So what they then try to do is like maybe try to reach into their personal life to try to find something that they're insecure about or fearful over, And then they try to grab onto that for dear life in hopes they'll be able to rip it out and then fucking wail on somebody with it. Like that's usually how people like this work. Like whenever they got nothing, they try to like aim for like fucking dick punches and low blows in hopes of scoring some sort of hit that will make the person respond either with anger or fear or just genuine emotional distress. And fuck you for doing that. I don't care if you're failing at it. It's like what Prof said in his video. It's not a matter of the competency, it's a matter of the intent that you demonstrate while you're doing it. And when you demonstrate nothing but malicious intent because you're pissed off at people for calling you stupid, you prove your point in the sense that it makes the other people look a lot more vindicated in coming at you and disliking you. People treat you with disdain not because you're hurting their feelings, but because you're trying to fuck with them in like really personal ways for no other reason other than the fact that you got pissed off that the person you're fluffing got made fun of. That's all it is. You're just sad. You're a sad little man dealing with sad little problems because you don't know how to deal with any of them at all. That doesn't involve just taking rocks out of the fucking bag and belting people with them because you know that you don't actually have anything meaningful to say. Let's get on to the next thing I wanted to say before I get ready to just wrap this all up. I mean, people like you can't maintain friendships. I mean, you can't. I mean, considering the fact that the only like relationship you seem to be able to memorize is the one relationship where you basically try to put your ex on blast, and then your own friend basically just has to like jettison you from their social circle because they're afraid of being caught up in your bullshit. Like, why are you not thinking about that? Like, why does that not register as, maybe I'm going too far? Maybe this is a little bit fucking nuts. Why does that not hit you? Like, why is it that little part of the brain responsible for self-awareness just neglects you at every given opportunity? It's like that part of the brain just turns the fuck off because it just decides to say, nope, this is worth it. This is worth the dumb bullshit we're constantly starting. No, it's not. It's not worth it. It is not worth the dumb bullshit at all because it's just that dumb bullshit. It's literally just a bunch of dumb pablum bullshit that you're bringing upon yourself by autistically screeching at people who hurt your fucking feelings. And instead of trying to acknowledge the fact that you don't have a reason to blame anyone but yourself for your shitty behavior, you're trying to make it seem like everyone else is just being a reactionary. It's not reactionary. It's not a bunch of people just losing their minds as a knee-jerk reaction to nothing. Like myself and other people who you've tried to fuck with have plenty of reason to be kind of creeped out and unsettled with the fact they keep trying to do shit to like dox their family members and shit. Like I said in a previous response, like what members of my family do either prior to my birth or when I was a teenager and didn't know what they were doing has nothing to do with me. I'm not responsible for what members of my family do. I'm responsible for what I do. I own my fuck ups. My fuck ups are mine alone. I own my mistakes. Dragging people's personal lives, whether it be their family members or their friends or their partners into it, doesn't make you sound like, I'm a mega troll, I'm styling upon you. No, you come off like a fucking creep. Seriously. Actually bring a real rebuttal to the table. Bring something to the table that doesn't just involve, hello, see this thing that happened years ago? I'm going to post it now. Okay, well, that doesn't mean shit 'cause it's years ago. You're acting like another person's like devoid of the capacity to grow and learn as a person just because you are. It's not my fault you've been the same way for like 16 years while everyone else is trying to grow and learn and be better. Seems entirely your fault. Because it seems like a lot of the shit that you're doing is basically just do dumb shit for attention and hope it pans out well. It never will. And the reason it never will is because people like you are easy as shit to keep track of. Everything you do without fail is just you screeching at people under the guise that screeching at people will make them mad so that you can say, LOL, I troll you, I troll you. It's not trolling if it's just stalking, dipshit. Trolling is not stalking. Stalking is not trolling. Dragging up other people's personal information and details about them to try to threaten them is not trolling. It's just called being a stalking creep. Now, there is one more thing I want to bring up. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I said there was one thing already, but there is another thing. And I find it to be relevant because it is like you basically try to pull a personal card on me about something that was posted on Nat's channel from years ago. You basically say, well, you were a victim of abuse. Yeah, you abuse others. Okay, those are different kinds of abuse, dipshit. Me calling Isaac, aka the Black Pill Joker, a whiny chode for blaming everyone else for his fuck ups and failings, which he has no right to do because other people aren't responsible for his life, he is. Me calling him a blithering spaz for handling the situation like the stupidest, most immature and childish way possible is not the same thing as being the kind of person that goes up and starts essaying people. It's not the same. One of these things is only bad in regards to like your idea of abuse, which is basically just mockery, commentary, and jokes. Like those things are usually only bad in terms of like making fun of someone in extreme circumstances where the person is completely unable to get away from it because they're like essentially cornered by it. Which in his case it's not because he could easily turn off the computer and walk away at any given time and he'd be free from it. Especially since he himself knows what he was saying when he posted all those fucking videos. Like that's not the same thing as someone who's being essayed where that is extremely damaging regardless of the duration or the frequency of the occurrence because it's still going to change this person's perception of relationships and like mature physical conduct between people. They're not the same. And I find it to be very reductive. They basically just water like an extremely traumatic, fucked up thing down to, well, you call someone stupid on the internet for behaving like a whiny little kid. Those aren't the same. Like, not at all. There is no similarity between the two. Because one's only, like, again, your idea of abuse is like Australia's language idea of abuse, which doesn't make a fucking difference in the United States because, different country, different rules, different fucking guidelines. So your idea of abuse in that regard is fucking stupid and doesn't apply because it's your country's idea of abuse, which I don't live. Neither does Marshall. Therefore, your idea of abuse doesn't apply if it's under a jurisdiction that's completely foreign to your own. You'd understand this if you didn't spend most of your childhood eating fucking crayons and sticking paste in your mouth. But nevertheless, someone being essayed is far more severe than someone just simply being called a fucking idiot. Like, I don't know if you were doing it because you like legitimately are too stupid to understand the severity and the difference in severity, or if you're doing it because you want to be petty and shitty and trying to make a point that no one asked to be made. Honestly, I hope it doesn't happen to anyone that you know. I hope it doesn't. I hope it never will. Because if it ever gets back to them that you treated someone that's also been through it the same way, they're gonna ask what the fuck is wrong with you. Like they're gonna be horrified and disappointed in you when they realize that that's the way you decided to treat someone who's been through that. They're not gonna find it funny, regardless of their personal feelings towards you. They're gonna be disappointed in you. They're gonna find it sick. They might even be outright compelled just to disassociate from you like Sporty did, because that's the kind of fucked up shit no one condones. Even people from Kiwi Farms will not necessarily condone that kind of behavior, because even though Kiwi Farms can sometimes be a real toxic cesspool of dumb bullshit, even people from Kiwi Farms might say, wait a minute, what the fuck? Why is that comparable? What the fuck is wrong with you? And when even people from Kiwi Farms might look at you and wonder if you're dysfunctional, that's when you gotta start asking yourself whether or not you're fucking up your own life. Like, all I'm gonna say is you have some serious fucking problems that I think you need to start addressing instead of trying to blame me and other people for it.